18 plus 4 is 20. 10 plus 20 is 30. 26 plus 24 is equal to 50. 20 plus 30 is equal to 50. 4 plus 20 is equal to 24. 16 plus 10 is equal to 26. Check. They're all there. And so that's what we're going to be basing our probabilities on. Now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go into these and just go ahead and finish up the tables so that we have these numbers as I flip through all of my the page so that I can write down probabilities that we need to find. So there we are. We have those all filled in now. So going on to my next page, what I have is I have the probabilities to find. So it says, what is the probability of randomly selecting a dealership with good service? So if I want to know the probability of good service, I'm going to first of all write my correct notation, the probability of good service. So this is just relative frequency probability. It says how many have good service. So I go to good service and I say 26. And how many simple events, how many trials did I have? Well, there were 50 people that I asked, so there's my probability. Now, if I were going to give this as a fraction, of course, it would be reduced. Divide this by 2, divide this by 2, and I get 13/25. And then as a decimal, I'm going to get 13 divided by 25, and that would give me 0.52. So we have 0.52, so 5.2, and I'll put another 0 on there just so you see that 3 decimals, right, kind of stay consistent there. And that would be the probability of good service. Now the next one says of selecting a dealership with bad service or business over 10 years. So the probability of good service, and I'm not going to use the word or, I'm going to use the union symbol, and that's good service or oh, sorry, no, that was not good service. It was supposed to be bad service. So bad service or bad service or in business over 10 years, 10 or more years. So we'll go there. And this is going to be the probability that I have bad service, right? And that's added to that, the probability that there are 10 or more years of service. And then because in a two-way table, the events are not independent, right? Good service in greater than 10 years of service, bad service greater than 10 years of service, good service less than 10 years of service, bad service less than 10 years of service. There's overlap there, right? They can belong to both of them. And because they can belong to both of them, that means that I need to subtract out that overlap. So the probability of bad service and greater than or equal to 10 years of service. So the probability of bad service, right? How many were bad service out of the 50 that were surveyed, plus the probability of greater than or equal to 10 years of service. So greater than or equal to 10 years. 20 out of the 50 had good service. And then minus bad and greater than 10 years of service. So that's this overlap, right? I've counted this twice. So if I added all these up and I added all these up, you see I crossed that one out 2 times. And so that's the one that's the overlap. That's 4 out of the 50 were in both pots. And so I need to cross them out just like we talked about on that Venn diagram. So this ends up looking like 40 out of 50. And that 40 out of 50, of course, reduces down to 4/5. And then as a decimal, that's going to look like 0.8. So that would be my probabilities. And then that would be all of the questions that we have about this particular instance. Now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to delete all of these out. Let's see. I'm just going to undo all of them. All right, so once we have that, we're going to go ahead and go on to our Next question, which is another contingency table. Now this one says, here's some information. Let's just go ahead and make a contingency table of it, and then go ahead and find the probabilities. So why don't you guys go ahead and pause my video, and why don't you try to make a contingency table and then answer these probabilities based upon the contingency table that you just created. And try to do that for yourself. And then when you come back to the next video, that's where the next video will go ahead and start.